Hello and welcome back to another Ben 10 video. This video is going to be slightly different. I've actually done a full custom figure rather than customizing a action figure base. And it's not Ben himself, so I should probably go and get the actual figures for this video. Okay, now that I've actually got all the figures, I'm going to unpose this one so we can get a proper look at them. And I say figures for a very specific reason, and obviously I was holding them just then, and you're going to see exactly what's been going on. But first, let's take a look at how I've made them. So this here is my 3D model. This is mostly done in Blender. There's a couple bits like the sockets that were made in Tinkercad and the Omnitrix that I've then imported in, and his collar, which was initially a cylinder. It's just easier to kind of make a pipe that's got that detail in it in Tinkercad. For me personally, it might be easier for some of you directly in the software. I found it easier to import it over. Now you can see here, Blender is running very slowly on my laptop. It's usually much smoother than this. The frame rate is abysmal. So if we switch over to just the red part, you can see it's moving a lot smoother than it did just now. So this is two entirely different sections. So I've got all red print and all yellow print, as well as the TPU sections, which you can see in the left. And that's how this figure works. So there's very little paint except for the Omnitrix. You can also see his extinguished head, which I didn't end up using because it was a nightmare to try and paint to match materials. These parts I went and printed on the Mars 5 Ultra, and obviously here's a time lapse of those parts printing. Over on the right there as well, you can see the yellow parts printing. This isn't for Heatblast, although they are Heatblast parts. Those are for Kevin 11, which is a custom I'm currently working on. Here are the yellow parts for Heatblast, but they're quite boring because they're just the ones you've already seen, but without, you know, the red. And here he is finished, fully assembled. The process of making him is really boring and really tedious to watch. So let's bring in another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, as well as the few more that I don't have on camera. Now, these two are slightly smaller. You might be able to tell by the fact that they're smaller. And the one on the right here has a grey Omnitrix because I didn't finish him. This was my prototype. This is the first one I printed. The one on the left is a reprint of him with the fixed file. I then didn't like that he was that short, so I upscaled him a bit. And you can see the upscale slightly there. He's about, I want to say maybe half an inch taller. All the newer ones are scaled up by about 10%, so they're 110%. This guy's just the standard 100. And you can see here, he's got some chips, like, just on his wrist. He's also got that one on his abdomen, and a bit of a scuff. And he's also got a crack alongside the Omnitrix, which if I push down on it, I can't, like, peel it away or break it any further. And all these chips and scratches are from me doing some damage testing and some durability checks. So from this, I've learned where to add more glue, kind of the tolerances that need to be involved, and the others are a lot more durable. And this guy's already quite durable. You can see I can slam him against my table here, and the only thing that falls off is his hand, which is one of the tolerances I fixed. So yeah, and that's a removable part that's meant to come out anyway. I then printed those same fixed files at the same scale, which is the one on the left, and I have two of these available for a giveaway for my channel members, so there'll be a channel members only post up right now. If you go and check the details of that, and you can enter through that giveaway post there, where you can find all the details on how to enter. But yeah, two of these will be available for channel members, as a thank you for supporting me through. A couple of you have been with me for over a year now, which it goes without saying is hugely appreciated, so thank you very much. Now here's the scaled up versions, obviously the same as the other two that are also on screen. So there are currently 4 of the same figure on screen, but this is just me trying to show how repeatable this process is now. It is not by any means an easy process. The ones that you're seeing on screen have been made over the course of a week, which is quite a long time to take doing these. And obviously this is the second fully 3D printable figure I've ever made, the first one being this Ghost Freak here. And I also have 5 of these available for sale right now. When I get around to producing these for sale on my website, I will most likely not have the tentacles as a part of the kit. They'll probably be sold as the figure with the display stand with their alternate hands. And that tentacle bit might be an additional piece I do, but I think as standard it will just come with these hands and the display stand. Just so it's cheaper to sell as a flat rate, because I know not everyone wants tentacles, and they are a pain to make. there's the other 4 that will also be available. Now on top of that, I have been remodeling some stuff. A lot of you guys have asked me to bring back the fully finished grey matters. I can't do that constantly with the magnets and the ball bearings because it's an absolute nightmare to do, so I've made statues instead. And you'll see these guys here, they're incredibly well detailed, very well painted. My very talented, non-platonic helper has been helping with these over the past week, and she's done a really good job. They look amazing. So like I said, those will be available in the Etsy down in the description below. There are a fair few of them. There are at least these 4, and more in the drawer downstairs, as well as more coming. Now getting onto this guy, which I have 6 available for sale. So 6 of these, 5 Ghost Freak, and a fair few grey matter. The Ghost Freak and the Heatblast you can find by messaging me on Instagram. And he'll come with this alternate head, his 2 fists, obviously his 2 relaxed hands, and his 2 splayed out hands. And honestly, I personally am very impressed with how this has come out. This guy took so much work and a lot of thinking and a lot of testing. And it's nice to see I can finally produce figures that the community wants. Since it still seems we're not getting any 1/12 scale figures officially licensed or even by third-party companies. I know Zoomrig has showed their kind of test shot for the Ben Tennyson, which I wasn't overly fond of. I didn't like the hairstyle and like the aesthetic they'd gone with. But no aliens by any company, so I figured I'd just do it myself. And you'll see there, you've got a 90-degree bend at the elbow, you've got a double jointed kind of butterfly joint going on here. Now you can't get the arm out to a full 90 because of that armor paneling, but he does have that rotation within the shoulder joint, as well as a bicep swivel here, which kind of just acts as extra on top of the shoulder rotation you've got there. Now going up to the head, obviously I mentioned the heads are swappable, and they're kind of just a plug and play situation. That TPU socket is just a plug that will fit inside that round hole in the head. And it's a pretty nice fit. You can see it's got a good range to it. Despite having this collar, he can look up, so you can get him into a kind of flight pose. He won't look down a whole lot. He will look down, but not massively. His chin then runs into the collar. Same with rotating his head, you can get him to look left and right, but he's not going to be able to do a full 360. And he does also have head tilt. Now it's worth keeping in mind, these are 3D printed figures, so you do want to be somewhat careful with them. Like I said, you can see I slammed that figure into the table earlier, but you are going to get scuffing if you kind of like grind the parts on each other. So basically treat them like you would a Mafex or an SHF. You can also clear up the scuffs. If you get a scuff on it, you can just hit it with a little bit of matte lacquer and it will cover the scuff. It blends it back in, which I found I've managed to do on mine after I scuffed him up. But you can see here, just from that top torso joint, you're going to get most of your articulation there. He does have a bottom ball joint, but you're not going to get a whole lot from it. I couldn't get a double ball peg down there because of the way the crotch is. There's not enough space to fit a TPU socket in there with the ball joint. So that acts as a little bit of movement, but also a rotation point. Obviously you get rotation at the top joint as well. Now the leg will go out about this far. I couldn't get a drop down for the same reason, there's not enough space, and I didn't want to add more fragility to it. And if you rotate the leg out when you're going forwards, you can get him past 90. You can get him even further past 90 if you rotate it out. But flat out, you're going to get just sub 90. And he's also got some good range back as well. Now you've got thigh swivel there as well, on top of that little swivel you get at the hip joint itself. Then you've got a double bend at the knee. Now unfortunately, because he's got this armor plating, or like this crust to him, you can get a 90 bend out of his legs. I would have liked to see more, but that would have meant making the actual plastic quite thin. I don't want it to become brittle. So he can hit a 90, maybe just slightly past 90 in some cases. But for the most part with posing, that's going to be enough. Like I said, he's not going to hit any Spider-Man poses, but you'll see very soon just what kind of poses he gets into. Now the ankles are a single joint, but you can see there's a chamfer on the inside of his ankle, which allows him to get it fairly far in. He's also got some outwards, a good range forwards, and a good range back. If I'd added another joint, like a double joint there is a risk that they would have loosened up very quickly, and it adds another breaking point, which I didn't really want to do. And you can see the joint's tight enough and he's well balanced enough that he will just stand on one leg, should you want to do that for any reason in particular. So let's get him in some fun poses and just showcase what he's actually capable of. And like I said, he is quite sturdy on those two quite big feet he's got going on. Now just some basic poses. Obviously you can see widening his stance, he's going to be fine and sturdy, and this is probably how you're going to pose him for the most part. Bring his hands back in, fairly common Heatblast pose that you see throughout the cartoon, just like a ready to fight stance. And then a 3-point landing pose, which a fair amount of figures can't get into. I know like 90% of the ZD Toys Iron Men can't do this, which is really disappointing. But yeah, he'll hit this pose and quite convincingly as well. And this is without having to strain any of those joints, this is just posed as they should be. I wouldn't recommend straining them, you do risk permanently damaging them if you kind of force them into a bit where there's resistance. But yeah, he'll hit some good poses, and aesthetically, this might be the best 3D model I've ever made. Especially comparing it to my first version. Now, when you compare these two, it is night and day. I was very, very happy with how this guy turned out originally. The fact that he's got some light conductivity to him is great, but I can also achieve that with this one if I print him in clear yellow and get some clear yellow TPU joints. Which is something I might do in the future as well. I can't currently do that because I don't have any clear yellow in either TPU or resin. And you can see my smaller version scales better with this Marvel Legends because of where the top of the heads line up. This Sunfire body for some reason seems a bit short compared to other Marvel Legends, but I think this Heatblast looks better. My 3D printed one, I mean, looks better than the Marvel Legends custom. And you can probably see there are some similarities between the forearms, because I did straight up just use the 3D model I sell as a kit for those forearms and edit it to work as a jointed piece in this full figure. I did also go and upscale the Omnitrix because it looks way too small in that original one. So overall, this new one is a huge improvement and I can actually sell this one to those of you that want it. And bringing Ben back in, you can see the art style and just the way these guys look meshes so much better than that original Heatblast that I made. Now for some actual scaling between existing figures, this is him next to your standard comic Marvel Legends Iron Man. And if you ignore the fact that he's got fire on his head, the eyes line up, the chin lines up, the actual head shape lines up. The shoulders are obviously a little bit higher because of that armour. So he scales well with Marvel Legends. This McFarlane Doomslayer is meant to be much bigger than your average character, and this is a 7-inch scale. So he lines up quite well with McFarlane to a degree. Obviously he'll be shorter than most figures, but he scales alright with 7-inch figures, especially if it's the Doomslayer, because the Doomslayer is meant to be a towering beast anyway. That is my custom Doomslayer, by the way. And then it's an SHF with a Mafex head, so kind of just your import for SHF, which scales smaller. He is going to look quite big, but you know, Mafex is normally along the same scale as Marvel Legends now, so he's going to look big compared to your SHF and your Figma, but I imagine most people won't be displaying him with those. Then here he is next to the Blockies Deadpool, which I have a bunch of Blockies to review and go over, and they're absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, you can see they do not scale with 1/12 figures at all. They feel like they're around the 4 to 4.5 inch mark. Now here's the ZD Toys Iron Man, like I was talking about earlier, that can't pose very well, and I think he's over 7 inches. But yeah, he's going to tower over this custom Heatblast. And I'm kind of fine with that. I made this guy with the intent of him being 1/12 scale, and he fits that pretty damn well. Now bringing in Jada Toys, a company I would love to take up the licensing, and like I have said many times before, if Jada Toys takes up the license, I am happy to provide my 3D files to be used as these figures, and this Heatblast is the perfect proof of concept to show that you can do it in a Jada Toys style. Now for Jada Toys, it might make more sense to use my 100% scale rather than the 110, because this fits better with Shaggy. But overall, I feel like the 110% just scales better as a figure in general. Now putting him in my display, I really need to dust that shelf. There's quite a bit more dust there than I thought there was. You can see he fits really nicely. The next two up on my list are these guys. I've already got files in the works for them too. Overall, I feel like Heatblast looks better with Upgrade and Ghost Freak, which makes sense because they're fully 3D printed, but also Stinkfly, which is also mostly printed. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and yeah, let me know if you like it, don't like it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.